SpongeBob! Howdy doody tooty fruities. Whatever Wednesday, today we are doing this thing. I've had this since this time last year. It's taken me a year to come up with an idea. But it's just I want to say an MDF trick-or-treat sign. Not entirely sure what the plan is for the actual sign. I know what I want to do, but whether it works out like that, we'll have to wait and see. But first, we need to prep this thing. Gonna take the string off. But the plan is to attach these three. There was a dilemma on what to do with this, but then I found that it's the same date. It keeps working out like that this year. But I created this in 2021. And so I'm going to create these guys and put them on to this sign. I think he should go there. That could work. And the grey one is always sleeping. And then we could have the dark brown one, who's the naughty, mischievous one. So I am going to foil sculpt these because I don't want it to be too heavy, because the plan is to hot glue these onto there. And I'm not entirely sure if it will stay stuck if they're just full on clay. So I've foil made the bodies and the heads, covered those, and then we're just going to add the extras on in full on clay. Ears, arms, legs, snoots. But this is our light brown mouse. I contemplated giving him feet and whatever, but I kind of wanted the cape thing to be the feature, because he is a vampire, or he's Dracula, and he's sort of got his arm across him, mwahaha style. I was really nervous about this one because it's the Three Blind Mice. I haven't made them in clay yet. And I didn't want to ruin them because they are my favourites. And I made my avatar in clay and I feel like I ruined her. So, side note, I'm not the greatest at this stuff, especially when it's small and fiddly. But all I can do is try my best. So, Mr. Light Brown Mouse is done. We've moved on to the grey one now. Again, at the end of this, you're only going to know that the top one is the light brown, because this one's going to be Frankenstein, which is a saving grace in my book, because if it looks ratty and like it's part of the design, he's Frankenstein. But the grey one is always like sleeping or wanting to sleep, so I've created like him sleeping here on the K and the O. You'll notice I didn't do any tails. It was too much. So they're all technically after the farmer's wife's got them. Either that or they're all tucked into their costumes. Your choice. So I keep pushing it on there to make the indentations of where they're going to be, so that they'll just sort of slot in, and then I can hot glue those holes. Really hope this works. So I've put some bolts on his neck. Okay, final one. He's going to be dangling off the bottom because he's the dark brown one and he is the mischievous little devil. Now, in the original design, he was the werewolf. However, I am changing his design because he was the werewolf because he had dark brown fur. So it kind of fit. As where it's going to be a little harder to create this here. He's just going to look like he's not in a costume. So I did change his design and he's going to be a mummy. He gave me the most trouble, even though he's just a simple shape. But I could not get his limbs to attach for some reason. And his head just refused to attach. But we're getting there. It's getting there. Just keep working it. So I've created this like ribbon thing to make it look like the costume's coming undone. So while they're drying, we are going to take care of this. It's covered in clay. But I'm going to sand it, prep it, gesso it. And then we'll come up with the design, I guess. But yeah, it's got bits of clay all over it where I've been poking and touching it. What would you have done with this? Because there's not much you can really do with it. I've laid down a thin layer of gesso. Didn't need much because it's gonna be orange once I get my paint. There we go. I got this new paint and it's so thin. But it's okay. Like a couple of layers and it will hopefully look the right shade. So I'm here now. I'm going to paint the edges black to give it a bit of a 3D look. Then I wanted to somehow bring that onto the edges. The black just gives it that depth type thing. But I'm going to let that dry. Do a couple more coats and then we'll get on to 3 Blind Mice. Ah! I changed the design. I brought the black up to line it a little bit. I felt like you couldn't really read it when it was just solid, so I brought this up. I'm happy with that now. It looks good. It looks Halloweeny. It looks on theme. And here are our 3 blind mice. We had a little accidental breakage. My dude lost his hand. Oops. Oopsie. I'll try and fix it. If not, like, he's gonna have lost his hand. Never mind. But we're all good. Everything else seemed to stay. I did actually lose one of the bolts, but I fixed that. I just can't fix the hand. Time to get to the sanding and the gessoing. So I couldn't fix his hand. Like I said, I lost the bolt, but managed to get that to stick back on, so. I'm going to go through all three of them. Essentially, when I colour them, I do all the ears, the noses, the hands, and the feet, and the tails, but the butcher's wife took care of that. And I would colour all of the bits of that. That green is looking... Eesh. Not Frankenstein style. We'll see how that dries. Gotta say, his ears came in handy after all the pain that he gave me. So the problem I'm facing here is the light brown one. The light brown one is... the tone is too close to the ear colour. That's the problem I'm facing. But he is a vampire, so he would be paler. But if I drop the tone of the brown, his ears and his colour's just going to blend as one. Oh, apparently we're done with that. Feel like there was something missing there, but here's the final piece. I Mod Podged them and all of that stuff. I just put some stitch work on Frankenstein. Some little bandage wrap type things. I did whiten. I put a light layer of white over his face. I can't decide who's my favourite. Who's winning the costume contest for this one? And by the way, the hot glue worked. A treat. But let me know who wins the costume contest down below. Now, I did add a little extra here. So, round the edges where it's black, I did put the glow-in-the-dark paint, and it does work. However, I haven't got enough light to charge it because we are having like a rainstorm and it's just dark and dull. I waited like 3 days to see if the sun would come back out, but it has not. So just imagine it's glowing. Are they the best sculpted 3 blind mice? Probably not. But it was fun to create. And of course, my dark brown mouse decided that he would be a pain and lose his hand in the process, but we kind of tucked it and hid it. It's fine. No one will know. But I'm happy with the end result. Let me know what you think down below. Did I make the right call with the dark brown one? Please do, if you enjoyed this, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, you gotta subscribe. You've got to! Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.